Hi, I'm Alex from Wilkinson Cameras, and this is the new OM System OM-1 Mark II. It's a 20.4 megapixel micro four thirds stacked sensor camera featuring up to 8.5 stop in-body image stabilization with IS lenses, improved autofocus, bigger buffer, new graduated neutral density filter options, 10-bit video, new vertical video shooting, and lots more. It's been designed to excel in bird and wildlife photography, landscape and macro, areas where OM are very firmly putting themselves. The outdoors, nature photographers, wildlife, that kind of area. In fact, their new tagline is, "It's in our nature." This is the new flagship camera for OM System and the first flagship to bear the OM System branding. The OM-1 was released about 2 years ago, but it featured the Olympus logo and the Olympus branding in a bid to firmly put the OM System brand out there and to make sure that their flagship camera really is the very best. OM System have released the Mark II. I'll get onto the improvements in a minute, but first, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking you want big things from the new OM-1. You're wanting a higher resolution sensor, a global a global shutter, revolutionary upgrades, and a reason to trade in your OM-1 and explain to the other half why you must spend £2,400 on the latest camera. Well, look, you're not gonna get it. So if you're looking for a reason to upgrade your OM-1, then unless you're really struggling with the already very good AF and need more image stabilization, or you need that bigger buffer, or desperately want the new Grad ND feature, then you're not going to have a reason to upgrade, I wouldn't say. However, if you've finally been wondering about swapping your older OMD EM1 or EM1X, then this is a very good camera, and you should definitely be contacting us and asking about a part exchange. I'll describe the Mark II as a facelift rather than a full-on replacement. OM System have taken user feedback and put improvements in place. So in this video, I'm going to cover where there have been some improvements or minor changes in features rather than going into every single detail about the camera. By the way, if you enjoy watching this video or any of our videos, then please don't forget to give us a thumbs up and of course subscribe, and then more people will be shown the videos to enjoy as well. Or let us know in the comments what you think we could do better. Let's start with the biggest improvement that we see on the OM-1 Mark II, the autofocus. OM System promised significantly improved continuous AF accuracy for landscape, bird and human photography. So for bird photographers especially, you're going to see big improvements here. They've really improved the subject detection and introduced human detection as well as the previous face detection option. The improved AI subject detection brings big improvements, especially when you have a number of subjects in the frame. On the previous model, the camera would select the nearest one to the camera. This could be quite frustrating, but on the Mark II, all subjects will be detected and you can then select which one you want to be the main focus. Another big improvement is the blackout-free sequential shooting and the buffer size. On the Mark I, blackout-free shooting was available at higher frame rates, but not at 12 or 25 frames per second. This has been fixed, and now blackout-free sequential shooting, which I really struggle to say, is available for longer at lower frame rates. The buffer size is now about double. This is a big one. You can now get 213 RAW at 120 frames per second single point AF. This was 90 on the previous model. With continuous AF, you can shoot 50 frames per second RAW up to 256 frames, or about a 5-second burst, which will definitely allow you to get the shot. Pro capture has also been improved up to 50 frames per second with continuous AF. Stabilization is where we see other improvements. The OM-1 had 7-stop IBIS, or up to 8 stops with Sync IS lenses. The Mark II offers 8.5 stops in body. Pairing it with an IS lens doesn't actually make a difference, which means that you don't have to worry about your lenses having this feature. Maybe in the future, this will allow even smaller, lighter, more affordable lenses. Who knows, but what it does mean is that it's a 20% improvement when it comes to handheld shooting options, and this should also be very useful for videographers as well. So I've still got the mic on. Olivia doesn't have a mic at the moment, but she has just said, "That's crazy," when she's used the digital IS. which I assume means that she's very impressed with it. That's a sign of approval. There have been some minor design changes, very minor, but this does include a right-hand menu button option. This utilises the bin or trash or delete button and allows you to set this as an alternative menu button. This is very useful if you're looking through the viewfinder and using a long lens. Perhaps you're tracking a subject and don't want to look away or look down just to be able to change something in the menu. So you can set this to the bin button or trash, whatever you want to call it, and you can easily access the menu with your right thumb without changing any other position. You can then change the setting that you need to quickly. It's a small change, but it shows that OM System have listened to their pro users. And another small but very nice change is the swap from hard plastic control dials to a rubberized coating. It makes it a lot easier to use with gloves as they're much more tactile. Other than that, the major design change is of course the OM System logo on the pentaprism style top here, and the addition of Mark II down below. Everything else remains the same, including the IP53 weather sealing, which means you can be confident to take it out in pretty much most conditions. However cold it is, however wet it is, you should be fine. I'm at an 80th of a second shutter speed. It's incredibly windy, so I'm just going to see how sharp this photo is. It's nothing moving, but just to see how it withstands, you know, these ridiculous winds. For landscape photographers, there have been some improvements to Live ND, which now goes up to ND128 as opposed to ND64. But more impressive is the introduction of GND, or graduated neutral density features. This allows you to do away with your traditional bolt-on filter kits, as this can all be done in camera. It's bad news for me as a retailer because now I can't sell you any filters, but it's great news for me as somebody who likes to travel light, because now I can control the light without having to mess around or carry extra kit. You can choose from soft, medium or hard grads, from ND2, 4 or 8, and you can change the angle in camera. Now, because I've got this hooked up to the Atomos, I can't use the touchscreen to move the bar up and down, but I wanted to be able to show you properly how this works, which is why I'm recording it onto the Atomos. And what you can see is that we can spin it around as required. Obviously at the moment I need the sky to have the ND over it to balance out the scene. I've got it on quite hard at the moment, and I can also do micro adjustments. Now ordinarily, so it's a little bit higher than I perhaps might like. No, ordinarily I could actually nudge that down on the screen, but I can only do that with the buttons on the back of the camera, and it's jumping a bit more than I'd like. But so that you can see, we'll leave it here, and then we'll just take the shot. So I've got a really moody sky. Now if I just turn this feature off and take the same shot with the same settings. So this is with the live GND with the sky evened out, and that would be the shot if I didn't have it. Now, not that long ago, and in most cameras, I would have to use filters that I attach to the front of the lens to achieve that. So being able to do this in camera is so good, because it means I can take this tiny little kit out with me, go on a walk and balance everything out without having to stop, put filters on, mess around. It's a really great feature. I really, really enjoy this. Speaking of computational photography, as OM System like to brand it, Live Composite and Starry Sky AF also see some improvements on the new model as well. High-res shot now offers 14-bit RAW as opposed to 12 on the older model, which gives massively improved colour tones, especially useful if you're shooting landscapes with lots of similar colours. I'm going to be using our ProMaster Chronicle tripod for this. I actually love this tripod because it also doubles up or triples up as a monopod and a tabletop tripod and a phone tripod all in one, and it's super compact. Absolutely love it. Okay, so I'm just trying the high-res shot mode, which allows me to do an 80 megapixel image when using a tripod, or 50 megapixel handheld. Now the OM-1 had this as well, but the OM-1 Mark II now incorporates 14-bit picture mode into this, which allows you to get a load more colour detail into the image, which for buildings like this where there's lots of similar shades should make a massive difference. Video-wise, not a lot has changed here. You still get an impressive 4K 60p, 120 frames per second slow-mo in full HD, 10-bit internal recording, M-Log 400 and HLG options, but there is a new vertical video mode, which is very useful for us content creators. And you can also use the OM-1 as a simple plug and play web camera, which is a nice feature if you want to look your very best while streaming or doing online presentations, things like that. So the OM-1 Mark II takes the same BLX1 battery as the OM-1. The battery life seems to have been okay so far, but I'm not finished with it just yet. It also uses the same HLD10 power grip. So if you are tempted to swap your OM-1 for the Mark II, then you'll be glad to know that you don't have to swap any of your accessories. It's going to be launching in the UK at about $2,399 for the body only, which is only slightly more than the OM-1. I'm told that this is also going to be available as a kit with the OM System 12 to 40 Pro lens. You'll notice that we have been using the Olympus Pro lens today on one of the cameras, but the OM System is just a badge change on that one. It's the original 12 to 40 Pro lens. So what do you think? Are the improvements good enough to make you upgrade from your OM-1? What about EM1 users or OM5 users? Is this calling your name? Did you want to see something else from the Mark II? Are you pleased? Are you disappointed? Please let us have your thoughts and comments in the comment section below. And if you like this video, please don't forget to subscribe. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to check out our new video where we review the new 150 to 600mm OM System lens as well.